Oh my gosh. I better turn on my camera. I don't know. My makeup hasn't set yet, so. Hi, everybody. Welcome to a new live stream. This to be in the right size. There we go. So I'm just playing around. Let's go over here. Let's do the embed all. Boy, have we got a live stream. Oh my gosh. So I hope you're doing well. My name's John Limcool. Playing around with Unify, having a good time. Now, I have a couple tips. I'll share one right now that I've been thinking about. I'm going to do a video on this. It's so easy. So this isn't much of a tip. But what's fun is using this type of a process of finding sounds that work together. These sounds work pretty well together, right? It's really easy to just simply duplicate this a whole bunch of times in your sequencer, and then each one of the tracks would just be one of these parts. So once you have fished, you've gone into the ocean of thousands of patches and you found things that work, take that Unify and now make, this would be, I'd need one track for this. I'd have another track for these other two because they're doing random things left and right an octave higher. I put a jitterbox on this other one, and there's a really cool setup where you can set the time jitter to eighth notes, give it the whole range so it can go all the way to no time, and then I had Shane put in quantizing of the delay, randomizing. So by saying simple note times and saying minimum of eighth notes, it will give me random eighth notes. So if you listen, this is the exact same file, same MIDI file, but the right side, every note that comes in is randomly. It's never the same. I've talked to Shane, at some point we want to have a little capture so it could capture a sequence in some way, but we haven't gotten that advanced into what it can do. But, so there'd be 1, 2, 3. Do one for the drums, maybe make one for the kick, one for the snare, and then one for the other bass part. And that way you have it all split out so you could then create a song. Turn off the MIDI files, play your own parts in for the parts that you want to turn it into a song. But I'll expand on that in the video I'm going to make probably this coming. I got 2 videos I want to make that are just right about ready to be released. They have to come out of me. It's hard to explain, but I did a video, if you guys didn't see. By the way, if you enjoy this video and the time that I spend with you guys, as always, it is greatly appreciated if you say thank you by going to the PlugInGuru website and buying a patch library, or buying Unify if you don't have Unify. And you can go here. There is a link right here for PlugInGuru Unified, which will list all the libraries that are currently unified. There's a ton of them. You can also go to the Unify page and go down the list. There's 6 new synthesizers added to the unified list. I'll show them as we go, but Cherry Audio Quadra, decent sampler, and I added Venus Theory's little organic orchestra library. Plugin Alliance Thorn has been unified. There's a bonus library that I'm in talks with Plugin Alliance to see if they're okay for me to include. When you get Thorn, there's 3 libraries that come with it by, I think, Rob Bass is the programmer's name. I want permission from them before I release those patches as a unified library, but the factory patches are right here. Tone2 Icarus 2, incredible upgrade to a really cool synthesizer. I'm gonna love showing you guys. And Nemesis 2 is equally very cool on the unique FM synthesis approach. It's really amazing. I still say new here, but Largo was introduced like a week or so ago. But we're up to over 50 different plugins that have been unified. It's crazy. Oh, also GForce. I didn't put. I need to put a new over here, but GForce OBE has been upgraded. This is upgraded so that the knobs work with version 2. They went through and changed all the names. They removed real-time controls, sadly, that I had used. There's no longer that I can find a global filter cutoff. You have to do it per oscillator. So I went through and redid the knobs in the library so that they now work again to the names that I did for the macro knobs. Now, this doesn't include the version 2 patches. I'm waiting to see if one of our wonderful team of unifying gurus, that would be Jeremy and Thomas, and there's a couple other guys that are doing that. If you guys want to unify the version 2 patches and get those to me, I will add them to the unified library. All these unified libraries mostly wouldn't exist unless it was the help of Jeremy Hall and Tom Svensson, I believe is how I say his name. I think he's here. Anyway, welcome. So that's the newest stuff. I'll show you the actual libraries here in a second inside of Unify. There's so much to show you guys today. My head is spinning trying to figure out how I'm going to do this because there's an awful lot. There's some really cool audio effects that have been released that are incredible, as well as a free synthesizer from Kia. I'll show you guys briefly. I've got a mocha here to keep me powered up. I'm going to start first by pointing out something. Let's see where the link is. Bank of Ukraine. I posted this in my newsletter. We are all aware of the absolute insane situation going on with our brothers and sisters in the Ukraine. It breaks my heart to see this. One of my friends, Oleg, sent me a message last night, and I'm going to try not to cry, but he was in a shelter, and Russian tanks are going by on his streets, and they're scared to death of what's going to happen. And he sent me a link that we can support Ukraine and their armed forces by donating to the National Bank of Ukraine. This is what you need to do. I had a couple text messages and phone, email and stuff like that. This is a special account, and I have another link. Let me go to my Facebook channel because there's another link I have that I can give you guys. If you can contribute and help them out, they need a world of help. I wish we could do more, but we have a madman with way more nuclear weapons than we have, ready to use them, it seems, and it's just scary for all of us. But this page here, I'll put it into our chat. This gives you the information you need to use a site like swift.com. No, not Swift, but wise.com. That's who I use to send money to Ukraine for some of the people that I work with in the Ukraine. But you need to use this to put into, for the US, the account number is here. You just fill in the beneficiaries for the bank information and for the credit. By putting this into the things at wise.com, you can send money to them. There is no direct link. You have to do it through a wire transfer process. So please help them if you can. It's shocking what's going on there. So my heart goes out to them, and I hope they can be okay and we can stop what is happening. Okay, so please support them if you can. It's just nuts. the key thing is a promotion that they did. Here, let's start there. Why not? So I'm going to initialize. It's not found under the name Kia. It's under, I believe it's Audio FB, movement by Kia. And it's interesting, they just say movement here without a dot because it gets troublesome if you do that. But I believe, I thought I saw it on an iPad, but maybe, I don't know. It's a VST plugin or audio unit plugin, and it works inside of Unify. And they have all these beach, forest, geyser, spelled wrong, night, thunder, water, wind, because they have these different sound effects over here. And then it's a monophonic synth. So it's cool, you can get these ambient sounds with birds, night, you know? So it's cool for that, if you would just feed that through different things. They also have a fairly basic monophonic synthesizer. It's got reverb. Apparently they use this to make some of the sounds inside of the cockpit of the new electric vehicle that they've got. And it can do that stuff, you know. Have that when you turn it on the car, or, I mean, yeah, it can do that, but it's not, in terms of synthesis and what you have to work with, it's very basic. Different waveform. Resonance will overdrive it carefully, so. Yeah, as you can, they didn't test it very well. There's no plus and minus buttons for changing patches. But again, great songs can be written with really crappy instruments. So just because this is so basic that it's like, you're kidding me, this is what it is, it can still be used for a, you know, you put this through the right settings. Take this, just for fun, let's play this for a second. Let's go omega delay. Let's have it be longer delays. And then let's put a MIDI box on it just to play a little line. In fact, let's go over here to, yes, there's just a few libraries loaded inside of Unify right now. UniLofi, to the MIDI phrases. Now it's mono, and it's probably playing chord lines. Here's a bass. Right? I mean, yeah, you could write with this. Go to UniLofi. Let's go to some of the sequencing, see if we find something that can work with this. Let's change the load mode to Unify layers. So anything I click, and then I'm going to open up this Unify layer so I can just change patches and. brighter. Tempo slow down. Go to layer and change this to drums. Yeah, you can use it. It's usable, but it's basic. So just be aware it's not something that's going to give you the powers of something like Spire or Serum or other Zebra type synthesizers that have all sorts of cool capabilities. But yeah, it's disappointing if you're used to anything that you've spent any money on, but it's free. And so you can't complain too much when somebody does something for free. You know, it is what it is. Now, that noise concept, let's see, let's do this. Let's do the audio effects next, because these are pretty cool. My friend Heinbach has teamed up with Audio Thing for, I think, their 5th plugin that they've done. That's really cool, called Noises. And it's actually an instrument, and it's an interesting instrument because well, you'll see. So if we go over here to Audio Thing, Noises, I believe it will call up and just start being noisy. And it's an interesting concept. There it is. Hi, Noises. If you're familiar with Heinbach on YouTube, he has a wonderful just passion for vintage old electronics and old synthesizers. And some of the things he's just shown are just pieces of gold for what they can do sound-wise. And he's sampled a bunch of them. And in the case of Noises, they have this big knob that's actually cycling through and crossfading from one to the next. Noises, right? Here, I forgot to turn off my do not disturb button. So this has some really interesting capabilities, because inside of here are all these different types of electroacoustic drum drones. Right? And if you turn on trigger and then play a note, actually I think you turn off trigger so that now it plays by when you play a key. But it does not transpose. So it's not a sampler. They didn't build this as a sampler. It'd be really easy in an update to add a little keyboard icon that they could click, and then it would, as you play down the keyboard, go up and down in pitch. It'd be nice if they do that. I'll turn on the keyboard so you guys can see what I'm doing. Wherever I play, it's just noises. And then you have controls, trip, we'll let it either be like this, where it's just doing a pendulum, or it's random. And you can see it's by time. So I'm here with Unify drums. If I load a drum groove, right? And then inside of Unify, if you go over here and you go dynamics, add a pump house to give it a rhythmic energy. Now it starts to get really interesting, right? So you can use it with drum grooves. Another cool way to use it is with keyboard sounds. Here, let me bypass this. Let's have it do just the pendulum, go slow. Let's choose something not quite so, like clicking noises. If you want, you can turn off parts so that it doesn't play certain sounds. So I don't want it to go up to 8, so I took 6, 7, and 8 and muted them. You have, if you hover over here, you have volume controls for each one, which is cool. You have filtering and you have crusher. You can change the routing, so if you want the crusher at the end, or else if you want the filter at the end. So now I can filter. So take something like this. We're still on load into Unify. I can go over here to key. Let's say something like just one of the in a dream or something like that. Turn it down. Maybe put it into some reverb. So let's go over here to another track. Go reverb. And I have a really cool noise texture. And you can have it like round. Now I've got it on trigger, but you can turn off trigger so it just plays all the time. And then turn on pump house. Maybe make it like 16th notes or 8th notes. And then maybe instead of the clicky noise, let's go over here and make it something more steady. And it gets interesting. It's really, really cool. Now, we did an update this last week to Unify. We added all sorts of noises. This is a crazy theme of noises and sound design stuff. We added all sorts of really cool things to Unify this week. We added record noises. I recorded all of these different record noises for Mega Magic keys. I included those samples in this library. So now UniLofi has 75 additional special effects patches. There's the special effects record noises, and I've set up here in the special effects area, you'll see these mono. These are set up so that you can call up fixed, and fixed means it doesn't change pitch, and mono means it only plays one note. Even if you play chords and stuff, if I was to go down here to the record noises and choose 17 just as it is, it's now playing chords of record noise. And it's not, so what I did, I'll show you the parameters that I changed. You go up here, instead of polyphonic, you make it monophonic legato. Instead of pitched, I say unpitched. I move the sample start later, and I made it random so that each time you play, it's not playing from the exact same sample point. And now you have record noise, and if I change the record noise, all sorts of really, really cool noises. So you can combine these noises with the noises plugin from Audio Thing. And you're ready for all sorts of incredible soundscape, texture. The places you can go with this is just insane. Right? So really, really, really fun. On top of the noises, we also added, if you go up here to just special effects, let's see. Well, we have BPM special effects. That's right. So if we go up here to BPM special effects, there's all of these BPM special effects. There's drum breaks, there's sweeps, broken drums, noise pulse buildups. So let's add one of these. I also added down here these upbeat snare noises, which will make a reverse snare effect. Let's slow this down. Hear this? That's using inside of Guru Sampler the EQ, sorry, not the EQ, the LFO that we have, because we can make custom shapes. You can make this and it's tempo synced. I should maybe have that on. So if you take that and then you add a drum groove, let's go over here to Unify drums. So I go BPM drums. I'm just going to add a drum groove to this. Let's say like Quacktown. Hear the reverse. So all sorts of cool noises are added. And if you want to take this further, just right click on all of these and let's say stop at C, and then go up here to the basses and choose something like soft gliding. Load this. I'm going to use, I could click or I can right. I'm so used to right clicking. Soft gliding. Let's load this into a new Unify layer. And I'm going to right click up here and drag. That's another way to change the key range and set that to B2. And now start writing. And you have this noise element from noises just playing all the time. So it's just sitting there. Now I might want the drums to come in with the bass instead of the right hands. So you can right click in the middle of a bar and you can drag the whole sucker down this way, which is pretty cool. So let's say B2 and click right here, right click in the middle of the bar. You can move the bar down and then click here to change this also to be B2. And now I got rid of the drums. You guys want this patch? I'll give you this patch. So here, I'll save this. Let's call this BPM split. Noises in the night. I'm going to take it one step further though. So I'm going to save this to the user library. BPM split. This requires noises from audio thing on layer 1, which you can remove if you don't own it. And patches, samples from UniLofi, volume 1. Okay? Save as, save. So what we do to take things a little bit further, I want the drums to not be based on playing the bass part. I want them instead actually on the mod wheel. So I'm going to go to the parts here that are listening to the mod wheel. I don't want the mod wheel to work on the drums and stuff. So we're going to go up here to the snare. Unify utility MIDI filter. I'm going to block modulation. I could go into the patches, but I'm going to show you the easy way to do this for those of you that don't like to program. Just go over here and say Unify MIDI filter, block MIDI CC1. And that way you can block up to 6 MIDI CCs in one MIDI filter. So now, and the bass goes away, so I don't want that to happen. So let's go down here and say utility MIDI filter. I can almost do this to everything as just a single MIDI filter, but I'm not gonna hurt your guys' heads too much. Okay, so I want to keep adding filters. I don't want it to do anything to any of these parts. I kind of want it to like, I should probably ideally go in and edit every patch, but this is the quick and dirty, easy way to do this so that it doesn't do it. I don't think yeah, it changes. I don't want it to change either. All right, so we're going to add MIDI filters to everybody. And we're going to block MIDI CC1 for everybody. And then on top of that, but before we block MIDI CC1 on the drums, right here, we're going to add a MIDI effect of Creative Trigger Box. And the preset I want to load is C4 plays with the modulation wheel. Okay? And I actually probably want to go show details and set it to like just below C2 or B2 because I have a key split, right? And so let's do this. Let's go say operations, copy plugin state, and put that before the MIDI filter. We want to listen to this before it listens to the blocking of modulation for everything else. Creative trigger box, and put that before the MIDI filter by click and drag, operations, paste, and oh, wait. Operations, copy plugin state, operations, paste. And so, let's see. What did I do? Oh, I have solo on, duh. So turn these back. So, there. Now I can play the drum groove with my mod wheel. See how my mod wheel comes up? And then to make these work, unfortunately for right now, you have to go down here to manual start and stop. And that way, these are really just for auditioning and jamming with. And now I can play it. The starting and stopping isn't controlled by anything on the keyboard, right? So that way, these guys listen to their own thing and do their thing. So let's save this as, save the night with mod wheel. I'll give you both versions. Save as, so you have one version that will work. Go down here to, oh, I gotta say all libraries. Go over here, say load all libraries. Go down here to user library. So there's two versions of this now. There's, oh wait, got it. All right, so normal load. Here we go. So Voices in the Night will load. It will start up the noises plugin, right? When you call it up, it just starts to play it. If you don't want it to play the noises plugin, you can open up noises and turn off triggers. And now it plays when you play notes. In the right hand, because it's only listening from C3 up. So down here, it's not triggering noises, but up here, it will. And then once you've turned it to where it triggers by keyboard, they have attack and release. So you could bring the release up, and it will slowly fade out the noises. It's pretty cool. Really, really cool effect. Really cool to think of something like this and make it do this cross-fading between all these different cool noises. There's no one on the planet, I think, that has a more interesting collection of unique noises than Heimbach. So it's a perfectly made plugin, perfectly matched. If you guys want this, it's at audiothing.com. Right here, go to noises. You can learn more about it. It's on an introductory price, which is really reasonable. The retail price is reasonable too. If you need something like this, accumulating these noises and creating them into something like this would be just, this is a perfect example of where doing this yourself would be a pain in the butt. It'd be a lot of work. And they did all the work for you, so here it is working. So it's really, really cool. So let me give you these patches. Go reveal in Finder. I'm going to compress them. So we'll say noises in the night, right click, compress. The duo, and I'm going to put that into a little place and give you a link. So let's go here. Unify, let's see, right there, and copy with Dropbox link. And I'll put it in the video description as well. But can you use any format in Logic? Yes, you can use any format of plugins in Logic if you're using Unify. You can load VST and VST3. I've shown that before. For example, from Tone2, they have a really, really cool unified synth called Warlock right here that's only available as a VST3 plugin. And I have Logic right here, and I could load up Unify, and I could go over here and I could go to the Unified Warlock library very easily. Just say all libraries, close. By the way, 53,100 patches are now available for Unify if you own all of these libraries and all of these unified plugins. It's just insane. Warlock. Then I gotta turn up the volume because I have it. What's that? So I'm playing a VST3 plugin inside of Logic. If you go to the known plugin list and you go down to Warlock, Warlock, VST3. In fact, inside of Logic right now, for the most part, I'm playing VST plugins. I don't even load the audio units in because all of these unified libraries are using the VST plugins. So I can call up Dune 3.5, call up a patch from Dune. It's calling up the VST2 version of Dune inside of Logic Pro. So that's one of the cool things with Unify is it's able to decode and grab the plugin regardless of what plugin format it is in. So that is... Yes, I'm not going to play all 53,100 patches. I'll tell you that much. It's pretty cool, but insane at the same time. So like I said, this week we've got some unified libraries. There's one more effect I need to show you, and it's a series actually of 8 effects. And they're pretty spiffy. Let's go to the standard library. Let me see. I want something nice and bright. So let's go to something like, Brassicado would be fun to play. This is a new set of plugins from our friends at Cherry Audio. They have basically giving you about $20,000 worth of Moog modular effects that used to be available in Moog format. They've modeled them and they sound incredible. There's 8 of them in total because there's 2 versions of the vocoder. I'm going to show you the vocoder. Unify is maybe the coolest and easiest place to use a vocoder compared to anything else on the planet, because everything else you have to sidechain multiple channels and it's just a pain in the butt. But if you go down here to the effects, I don't think I have by company. Oh, I do have Cherry Audio, but I didn't add. Let me show you how you do this. So if you want to add some effects to one of these subsets that I made are just starting templates for you, okay? So check this out. If you go to the subset page, click over here and change to audio instruments, and here by company and Cherry Audio, right? So I want to add more presets because I installed all 7 of these audio effects. So if you look at the list here, there's VST instrument and there's VST effect. So if you say effect, you've cut down the list of available plugins considerably because it's only showing those that have effect. And then I can break it down farther by saying Cherry and there, Cherry Audio. So I'm going to just select all of Cherry Audios just to make sure they all get selected and say add selected. It's going to add all the Rackmode effects. Click save and close. And just like that, so easy. Now when I go over here to by company to Cherry Audio, I now have all of these kick-ass audio effects in my preset list. To start with, let's see, let's turn it off. This is killer. This is a frequency shifter. If you want to hear some cool stuff, let's go to my voice. Anything that you've heard from like all sorts of really, really cool Star Wars effects, stuff like that. Let's go Cherry Audio, frequency shifter. Testing 1, 2.
Hey, you're not supposed to be in here. Get out of here. What are you doing in here?
You're supposed to be out of here, so.
Testing 1, 2. I don't know what's going on,
but testing. Hey, do you know what you're doing? I mean, it's the effect used for all sorts of cool alien voices, right? So do you know what your alien friends are doing?
It's really, really cool what you can do with the frequency shifter. Especially one that's this kick-ass. Sounds so cool.
To take my voice from this
to this. Hey, come on into the club and have a good time.
So yeah, pretty cool there on that front. So the frequency shifter is really, really great. That alone is worth the $99 or $149. When it's retail, it's still totally worth it. Let me put it before the loud max so that it doesn't do distortion. Let's go to Cherry Audio. Other effects, the graphic EQ is very graphic. If you want to make like really convincing AM radio, you know. Let's bring it down just to almost 1K. AM radio, you know, you put it in your voice, it'd be the same thing. It's really cool. There's your parametric EQ, which is 3 bands of parametric. Sounds equally incredible. I'm not going to show that just because I have so much to show today, but the parametric EQ is great. The phaser is great. And there's all sorts of presets. Love phasers if you're doing all sorts of music where you want like pads. Like, let's do this. Since this is on the master effect, I can actually go to Unify. I can say load as a new layer. Let's do something like dream strings, and then I can solo this part. It's still going through the phaser because the global effects are still going to be. Let's click for presets. For some reason, it's not showing me all the presets. Oh, because I'm standalone. I have weird situations sometimes when I'm in standalone. With my there's something with the graphic card of this computer that just freaks out sometimes when it comes to layers. So let's do it. Let's show you inside of here. Let's go to the standard library, find a pad real quick. Pad. Unify standard. Now, if I go over here to by company, Cherry, see, it saved the subsets. They're all here that I saved in the standalone version. They show up just like that in the plugin version. Love it. I love it. All these kind of cool things. Slow phasing is just so sexy. So it's an up to 12 stage phaser. Highly recommended. It's wonderful. Again, before Loudmax. Other things that are in here, if we go to Cherry Audio, the ring modulator is equally incredible for voices and for... If we wanted to put this on my voice, I can show you again the quality of these effects. I have heard other, we've all got some free ring modulator from somewhere, but they
don't sound like these do, I'll tell you. These are quite good. Cherry Audio ring modulator in
stereo. So I'll just go through some.
Hey, test.
1, 2, test.
1, 2. I don't know what's going on. Test. 1, 2.
So the quality's great. It's incredibly good effects. I'm going to show you now one of the coolest things, and that's the vocoders. And I've already made some patches to set this up. Let's do it from scratch first, so you can see how easy this is. We have inside of Unify a really cool effect under utility called Combo Box. And what Combo Box does is it gives you a playground to combine and stack and organize and do things in more than just a single line. Instead of a parallel line, you can get into all sorts of stuff. So I'm going to go over here to instruments. Yeah, let's do the whole thing. So I need to have as I right click, you can see you have MIDI effects, instruments, and audio effects. So we want to go to company, Cherry Audio, the Rackmode Vocoder effects. So it loads it up and it has the modulator and the carrier. So I'm going to go to instruments. I'm going to say Guru Sampler. And I'm going to go over here and I'm going to say instruments. Let's do audio file first. So instruments, utility, audio file player. So now we connect the lines. The red line is MIDI. So everything needs to be listened to for MIDI. This is going to go over here to these. And then the modulator is going to go over here into the modulator inputs. And then the outputs are going to just be routed down here to the audio outputs. MIDI output isn't really effective at this point. So now we need to set this up. So open up the audio file player, go through our huge list of libraries to Unify standard, and we're going to click and load Welcome to Unify, me talking, and let's say loop it so it just loops. And then for the other side, it's saw modulars. So welcome to Unify. It's already working just like that. Welcome to Unify. Welcome to Unify. Welcome. Welcome. I mean, the quality of this vocoder is welcome to Unify. Welcome to Unify. And you can open the vocoder and then it just gets what happened there? It's not supposed to be doing that. Huh? It wasn't doing that before. Audio effects by company, Cherry Audio. Let's reroute this. So the carrier is here, the modulator is here, MIDI is here. And open. There's all sorts of presets. Welcome to Unify. And you can say just a buzz or just hiss, like the noise, or the two, and then you can bounce. It has the whole frequency bank. So let's say instead of voice, I want to use a drum groove. So let's do it again. There's something disconnected the pins, doesn't it? Wow. I don't know why it's doing that. It wasn't doing it before, so I'm having to guess that there's something in this configuration that's causing that problem. If I go over here to patches, I do have it set up with, this is our vocoder in stereo that comes with Unify. I made the same thing using Cherry Audio's vocoder. You can see it's a whole different sound. And what's cool, since this is Unify, you could go Unify layer, combine, let's do it again. Wow. That's the two together. There's something about the resting state that makes this, so I'll have to have Shane look at that because I don't know if it's in the Cherry Audio plugin or it's in Unify. Just keep playing it. So you can combine them all. Just don't. Is it just the first? Let's see. There must be something. There might be something with that layer that just got messed up. So if I said new layer, combo box, you know what I should have done? I didn't do it, but I should have copied that layer so I could paste it. There's something not right for some reason. I don't understand why it's doing that. But you can see how easy it is to route the vocoder and use it in Unify. This type of capabilities is really hard. And the fact that here, if I go just a normal layer, just load this by itself. This is the Cherry Audio singing. Sounds so good. And is it gonna? Yeah, it's spiking today. It wasn't doing that. It sounds so good. And what's fun with this is showing the frequencies. If you turn on the frequency bank, it doesn't make a sound. And now you can take certain frequencies and route them to a different frequency. So you can have, like, if it's a drum groove where certain, like the kick drum can be. So you can make all sorts of weird stuff. Form it. Renaissance. How accurate it is to the envelope. Now it's really slow. So it's just getting the vowels. It's awesome, awesome, awesome. And then there's an instrument version as well, which gives you a... Oh, this is the instrument version. Yeah, the instrument version gives you the... The sine wave type of sound gives you breath. So it's super powerful as far as all that stuff goes. So it freaks out when we'll have to. That's something that can get fixed. I don't know who's doing what, but that will get fixed at some point. Okay. So those effects, I'm gonna stop it so it doesn't blow up. But those effects are incredible, and if you need some high quality frequency shifter, ring mod, vocoding, stuff like that, highly, highly recommended. They're great. Okay, so those are available. And let me see. Do you guys have any questions? I can only assume Cherry Audio have found a way. The thing with Cherry Audio that's really smart is they created that modular synth, and with the modular synth, that gives them the ability to put things into an order, configuration, modify the modules to accurately represent what they're trying to emulate, and then somehow they're able to lock that into a plugin, which is great. So they can do this stuff. So yes. Robert Saint, are you part of Cherry Audio? That's awesome if you're part of Cherry Audio. We love what you guys are doing. We also, one of the libraries that's unified this week is Cherry Audio's incredible Quadra. This is a cool, like, alternative synth that has a really cool vibe to it. Yeah, this is a unique, all of Cherry Audio stuff has been great. They've been aiming at the really affordable. This is not aiming at the really affordable because they're going for the really accurate, high quality, and it's wonderful stuff. So I'm really, really thrilled that they did that. Quadra is really unique. This is an ARP synth that was really, really cool and hard to understand when it came out. It has a lead synth, a bass, a string, and a polysynth module all together. And there's all sorts of here's all the unified patches for it so that you can... And the thing we love about Unify is go to Unify layers, choose something else, it loads it as a new layer, and now you're starting to play with... Now pan it left and right. Right? The vibe is great. Little triplet action in there, turn it down. Add a bass. And in a case like this, I would right click on these 3 parts and then off you go. Hold down Option, turn it down. I gotta play a little bit more just for a minute. Let's go to Cloud City. Let's get to one of these really cool 4 on the floor grooves. Maybe some rolled percussion too. So I'm gonna load it into Unify as a drum layer so it turns off transposing. Let's have a buffalo drum, smooth shaker, sun drum, and a groove. Here we go. Now this drum groove, it's got a crash cymbal on every downbeat, right? So here's a cool trick to fix that. Solo to find the culprit, and then go to the MIDI box and look at it. It's a crash on every 8. So it's gonna play for 8 measures of silence. So go here to the start. Oh, let's see here. Since it's 1 measure played very slowly, I see what I did for this. Okay, so it won't work. Let's just mute it so we don't have a crash. Turn everybody down just a little bit so we can give the groove a little bit more prominence. You guys want this patch too? I'll give you it. I'll make it. So let's go save. What should we call this? How about this? BPM split. Oh wait, I'm spelling right. BPM split. Running to save the world. And let's save this to the user library. Uses Cherry Audio's Quadra and Cloud City. So you got to have both those plugin and library. Save as. Uh-oh. Accident the hard drive slowed it down. So we'll go save. Let's see, ARP Quadra, playing like that. Let's go open this up and see if we can find out where the latch button is for the arpeggiator. Turn that off. There. So we'll save it that way. So we hold down Option and click Save, and it will update the patch. So let's go down here to the user library, and I'm going to hold on Option and Save again just to verify that there it is. So reveal it in the Finder. There it is. Let me do this. I'm going to put it into my Dropbox folder. Running to save the world. Actually, I mean running save, not just the world, but copy Dropbox link. And here you go. Stairway to Hell. Oh my gosh. There you go. So you can download that too. Again, it requires that you own Cherry Audio's Quadra. Killer sounding synth. And then it needs you to have for the percussion parts, which are these parts. Right? And again, I didn't do it, but you could pan Buffalo drum and the Sun drum. I love with Unify 1.8 that when you select a patch inside of the Unify layer, that name is automatically propagated into the layer names. So you can look at this and I can quickly see, oh, there's that, and the shaker. So if you pan them a little bit, so you can play with the mix. Like I was talking about, let's say that you'd spent a little bit of time and you'd found this set of patches. All I would have to do is hit D to duplicate that setup inside of Logic. And I could go through, let's do a couple of these just so you can see what it would take. It's gonna take a second. My computer has to wake up and do all this kind of stuff. So. And by duplicating a couple of these, I could then solo out just like the synth parts for one of these. I could go to another one and make it just the bass part, go to another, make it just the drum part. And then I'd be able to write a song, turning off MIDI box if I want, or turning off the arpeggiators inside of the Quadra plugins if I wanted to, or I could just use them that way. But since I made 3 layers, I could solo first one and open that one up. And then you can use Option, and I'd get rid of the percussion. And there's 4 things of percussion and a bass. And then you can right-click on each of these to give it the whole keyboard range. So this first one is the synth parts, right? The second one, let's double-click. And let's get rid of the first 3 because by holding down Option and clicking, I'm getting rid of those, and then get rid of all 4 things of percussion and right-click so that the bass has the full keyboard range. And then go to the third one and double-click. And I need to get just the first 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have percussion, and I could name this hello, perk, the bass, and then the synths. And so now when I play this, I just had that really cool dancing Quadra fun. And then the bass. And if I wanted to, because of the power of Unify, I could go to this bass part, say I want to load new Unify layers. I could go to any library, any of these 50-some thousand patches. Let's go to Icarus 2. And let's go up here to the basses, and let's find a really cool bass from Icarus 2 to combine with this. Let's say, how about Primator? What does that sound like? And if it doesn't sound right, all you have to do is double-click this Unify layer, and now you're looking at this library in a way where you can... Oh, that's cool. Let's add War Siren. What the heck? So at any time in your music production, this is why so many people are using Unify as they build their songs, because you can go back at any point while you're working on your song, and here's the synth part. All I have to do is set this to Unify layer, and every one of these libraries, I could say I want to go to the TX816 factory library, and I want to add the church organ from the TX816. And I'm going to go over here and I want to add, I don't know why it's doing that today, but it's funny. I want a pipe organ and I want a choir. So let's go down here to the choir. We're still here. Click this. And let's spread it out in stereo. Just like that, I added 16 DX7s to the synth part. So at any point in the production, you can call up Unify and I don't have to start dealing with multiple layers and copying the MIDI regions to the other new tracks. It's just beef it up inside of Unify. And because it's multi-process, it's just fun. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. We don't have multiple outputs in Unify. That's something that we are looking at for a future paid upgrade option in some form or another. We can't talk about that much at this point. Let me see. I don't know what is happening with the audio I'm just got a gremlin today, it seems. Anyway, so that's one of the unified libraries is Quadra, which is wonderful. There are others I want to show you, and I can spend a minute showing you these synthesizers as well. We got a little bit more time. There's more to show you guys if we keep going down the list. So also unified today and available at the website on the Unify page is Thorn from the Plugin Alliance, which is a wonderful synth. Thorn meaning, of course, sharp, and Thorn has a character to it that's really unique. It's got this whole harmonic filter that's really unique. It has a glitch sequencer where you can turn on parameters. Right? I want to show you this because Icarus 2 also has this, but takes it a step farther. But Thorn has been unified, all the patches. The BPM, is it under ARP or it must be the sequence, I think, right? So if you get down here to sequence, a lot of this is happening thanks to the glitch sequencer and the arpeggiator working together. All of these plugins have demo versions, so try them out. See which one talks to you and has. And again, just go Unify layer and click a couple glitch patches and then pan them so you get some fun stereo fun things. Let's take this and just for a minute go to Big Bad Beats. Go to the grooves. I need to see this just a little bit more of the name. Go to some of these that have the big X's in the name patch. Make sure we set to drum so it doesn't transpose across the keyboard. Uh-oh. What's going on? Why aren't you playing? What did I do? Oh my gosh. What, the whole library isn't working today? there's something funky going on because everything's from the website is working for everybody as far as stuff. But today, for me, what happened? Okay, so if you get an error like this, here's what you have to do. You open up the plugin and you'll see red and you click this and it's looking for MIDI files bonus beats. So now I have to look inside of the Unify folder and see if I have a bonus beats folder or not. Let's see here. Go to Unify. Oh. I don't have the RX2 library there. So see if I can fix that really quick. It should be there. I don't know why it's not there. That's weird. Yeah, for some reason, the RX2 folder got placed somewhere funny. So if I'm not going to try to find it right now, but I'm missing the whole folder on my computer. So in the process of trying to get ready for this show and to get all 40, 50, whatever thousand patches ready that are here, that folder is missing. So sorry about that. We could go booty bounce, get rid of you, but let's go to Noisebox because I know Noisebox is there. So we could go full mixes. Like let's go VRAM 1. You get the idea. We could, it's really fun. But let me take you from Thorn to Tone2. They have upgraded Icarus 2. Let's see, Unified, Tone2 Icarus, and Nemesis 2 are both really, really sweet plugins. They have a great vibe. What I was impressed with Icarus 2 is there's a drum module now. And so all of these BPM drum grooves are inside of Icarus, which is really, really cool. But I'm going to show you something. Let's call out something like, okay. Here's Tone2's Icarus 2. Let me make sure you can see this properly. Yeah, you can't. I've been here before. So let's go like this. And let's make this a little bit smaller. So we can get this to fit. There you go. So they also have drums. If you go over here and turn on drums and go to the presets, you can choose 909. Or you can turn it off. But it's cool. And then this glitch mode is insane. You have repeats, gate, pan, tremolo, low pass, high pass, bit crush, degrade, detune, and pitch slide. And pitch slide is super cool. So let's turn on glitch. I'm just going to put in some of these, just the pitch slide. This, you can go down or up. Let's add some repeats. Up to 32. And now I'm just going to click like an insane person, just all over the place. Click, 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 click. Oh my gosh, I'm so insane. So for sound design, just crazy what you can do with this. And it's doing it both to drums and the synth at the same time. So it's like an effect after everything. Super, super cool. So here, let's call up another one. That would be perfect. Go to glitch. Click like a madman. Just not as many times. So all the patches are fodder for playing with in really cool ways. I mean, on top of all the other stuff that it has that's so cool. I did factory patches for this many years ago when it first came out, but the vocoder for a really clean. I don't know if there's an input. It'd be really cool to have something like this layered with the vocoder from Cherry Audio. These are tempo sync, by the way, so they're set to match. If you go over here to presets, go to glitch, turn it on. This sounds really great. I'm just clicking. And it's such a great synth too, all the sounds. So if you haven't played with Tone2's Icarus 2, it has a seriously, this whole, the wavetable synthesis stuff you can do. Wonderful. And of course, go into Unify, set this to layer. Take it down an octave. Go to drums. Oh, I don't want to shuffle. Shuffle's going to be the wrong thing. I know already. So let's go. And not a slap beat, not a scratching roll. Nucleus. Let's try Nucleus. There we go. Cool sounds, man. And the whole library's been unified. That's 1,560 patches because it goes everywhere. This is version 2, so all the version 1 patches are here. Go to load Unify layer, add some more atmospheres. Hold down Option to turn it down just a little bit. Again, I'm playing, when you start layering big sounds, 2 notes. Find the right notes. You play chords, it might not sound so good when you get layering lots of big sounds. 1 note, sweet. Okay, so Icarus 2 has been unified. Nemesis 2 is a really cool take on FM synthesis. This is a synth, I bought the first version because it was so cool. Totally different vibe. It's this thing called Neo FM. That's like changing the output of all the modulators. all at once. So you can create all sorts of really... Really, really, really cool. Beautiful sounds. I'm not sure what they did in their updated 2.0, but it does have the gating and effects. I think they probably added new capabilities in the engine, as well as a bunch of new patches. This unified version has 1,103 patches. So let's go to Unify layer. And let's play with the fuzzy dice for a minute. Let's go to a totally different, let's go to Icarus 2 and go sequence, SEQ, which will give us just the BPM sequence patches for the most part. And hit the fuzzy dice, and it's gonna randomly choose. Let's click the dice again. It's gonna randomly choose another patch from our 123 in the list. Now, one thing that I do, if there's sounds that are steady, like that's kind of like a hammer hitting you all the time, that's a perfect candidate to go over to dynamics and add a pump house. And go over here to presets, to the side chain, like 2 or 3. Let's say... have it show up a little bit. Yeah. Let's click random dice, have it change. Oh, that's cool. I would have never thought of that. So fuzzy dice for the win to create something interesting. So Icarus 2 has been unified. What else was on the list that we've just unified? OBE. Let me show you that really quick. That's from GForce OBE. This is the version 2, which is wonderful. The big thing about this is it's both M1 computer compatible for Apple, and it's also available for the PC finally. So you can go over here. And have these really, really cool sounds. 618 patches. Like I said, we don't have right now the version 2 patches, but I will be editing probably this week. To the list. On top of this, Decent. Oh, Decent. Yes, Decent Sampler is the other one that's been unified. So I don't, just a little bit more on here, just to point out for those of you new to the OBE interface, you can click to resize it like this, which is nice. When you're looking at it, these buttons down here in the corner, choosing group or so forth, are really important. You can also hit zoom so that you see all of the parameters for one of the SEM modules instead of all 8 of them small. So if you hit zoom and then if you hit group, you're now going to change that parameter on all 8 modules. So I'm changing this to all 8 at once. and you can turn off certain modules if you don't want it to be doing to the first 4. So I just went to the other 4. I think, I'm not sure how that works. So I think I have to turn off lock. I'm not even sure if I'm cycling. This might just... It's unison right now, so... As far as to the knobs, there are 2 pages of macro knobs. Because these show up, that means these are automatable parameters in your DAW. They will show up and you can... And I went through and set up all 8 bloody controls for all 8 of the sim modules for filter, for resonance, for filter EG, for the attack. Notice I have a special curvature. That comes in really, really handy in some cases to get so that you have... Without the curvature, there is a whole lot that happens in this very small first part of the whole range of the attack. By giving it a curve like this, this gives it more point values in the lower register. So you can, if you want, you can make it even more dramatic. If you do this, then right click, copy the curve shape, and now you need to go to each of the 8 and paste the curve shape. We don't have group tools for stuff like this. Paste, paste. And by doing this, I'm going to open up so that it's got even more resolution in that very first critical. Like, it'd be really hard to get that if everything was up here at just the normal reset point like this, because it just, that now becomes something that's in this part of the range instead of half of the range of the throw. So these knobs are set up for all of them. Really, really, really cool. All that kind of control is there. So those are all fixed. Knobs are fixed for version 2 of OBE. Not sure if it keeps the soul of the original hardware. Well, you know, when you sit down at a computer, you've lost the soul. I hate to tell you. And we'll talk about this more. I'm working on a special library for a synth that's in hardware form that I'll tell you, there's something about sitting with something in hardware and playing with it that it's hard to keep that spirit when you get to software. But OBE is really, really close. Cherry Audio also has, and we have unified their 8 voice, which is another wonderful synthesizer for the Oberheim vibe. They're a little bit different from each other in their presentation and sound. There's a rather large price difference between the two. I will tell you that one of the big things with the GForce is that they've gotten Tom Oberheim's blessing on the actual sound of it. It sounds like the original OBE plus new capabilities and stuff. That's pretty cool to have, I must say. But Decent Sampler is something I did my friend Cameron that has his Venus Theory channel, he has a video out showing there's a cool way of using EQ and frequency nodes to make sounds that are, they become organic in a way because you're emphasizing certain frequencies. And he has made a free little, there's a free and then there's a $20 version. This is the $20 version I bought. You get more samples to play with. Each one of these samples in each one of these three groups is, I recommend you watch his video if you want some ideas. And if you go to granular pat over here, right? So I started, decent sampler is a decent sampler. It has some problems that they need to fix their, like the envelope controls, like all the envelope controls. Whoa. Oh. Yeah, we'll do, yes, we will do a silent moment, Daniela. We will do it in a few minutes. Let me finish decent sampler, and then we will have our moment of silence in the live stream for our friends in Ukraine. Absolutely. The way that you load samples, sample sets, is to go to the file, and then you have a load recent, and you can go to browse to your libraries to see what you have to load, stuff like that. It's a little cumbersome. And so I've started to unify some, and this is kind of an ongoing library project. So you can just click here to load. There's all these various free instruments. These are all free. Dave sampled his voice. So if you own decent sampler and you own these libraries, then when you choose these, the resonator glockenspiel will load. Now, this is another case where, like, as you can see, I have put in the attack, decay, sustain, release, but check this out. I have limited the range and then drastically curved it because the parameters in decent sampler are not optimized at all yet. So by doing this, you can go to if you take a look at this, right? If you have this set like this and the normal set, in fact, let's see, like this. It goes from super fast to slow pretty quickly. So if you limit this range and then bring it down like this, you can get to where you have a lot of more points of shape. And then they have the 3 layers. So if you go to page 1, you have oh, that's right. I couldn't fit. I wanted to add, and I'm going to talk to Dave this week. If you go to this plugin, to Decent Sampler, volume is the name of all 3 of the parts for the 3 layers. And Unify, once it sees volume, even if I set to second volume, it acts and grabs this volume because they're all the same name. So they rushed it out the door a little bit. They should have spent a little bit more time. This is the ADSR, is parameters 11, 12, 13, 14. And then volume 1, 2, 3 are for the 3 possible layers, but they're all named the same. So hopefully they can do an update to the library. They've done updates to libraries in the past. And then we can add more real-time controls for the volumes. Okay, so let's do this. If you guys wouldn't mind, let's do a moment of silence. Yes, I hear you, Daniela. I am very, very sad too. So a moment of silence for our brothers and sisters in the Ukraine. Set my timer. just not right. Not right. It's unprovoked. There's no reason. Selfish greed. And the lies coming from Russia is just so sad to see. So I stand united with our Ukrainian family and friends. And I gave you guys the links at the beginning. If you are able to contribute at the very beginning, let me copy the link, paste it again. Oh, let me find it. That is the link to donate to the armed forces. It's all we can do from here. It's just, yeah, I saw the talk about him threatening other countries if they join NATO. I think we all need as a planet to join together. You attack one of us, you're attacking all of us, right? It's our hearts are all connected. This world is all connected. And for these people that don't realize that, yes, Putin will pay. I hope and pray it is sooner rather than later that this can stop. So, okay. Well, thank you all for joining today. Yeah, my heart's. It was a hard week to sit and try. There's all you guys sending me the libraries and everything, and I'm watching the video of what's happening and trying to work at the same. It was not easy. Vladov. Okay. Yes. It's hard to keep peace, isn't it? Isn't it crazy? Yes. I was watching video of the tanks driving by a CNN person in the night last night. I was like, are you kidding me? Well, no shout outs tonight. We are standing together. Let's be strong and put all of our positive thoughts we can to them, our friends. I'm working with someone in the Ukraine that's working on a software synthesizer, and he's in a shelter. My friend Oleg, there was a time a couple years ago, I did live streams with him teaching absinthe to the people of Ukraine and Russia, and he would translate into Ukrainian as I would talk about synthesizer programming. These people are in shelters right now, and it's just not right. So stand together. Oh no, yeah, you're out of here. We can't have webcams. Let's see. Remove. Yes. With typical Ukrainian sounds. I don't know if I have many instruments of Ukrainian nature. That's probably not my place, but I will shed light, respect, and love on those that I can. Yes. Yeah. More and more people, though, are demonstrating. I hope the one thing that could really turn this is if the people of Russia will turn around and mass turn against Putin and his generals. We saw China and other countries not standing with Russia, China and India and some of those. I was watching, I'm going to put a link to this because it's very appropriate. And I love the phrase from this song. It's called, here. Never been more appropriate. The lyric is, I hope the Russians love their children too. And it's Sting singing the song about Russia from 12, a long time ago. Got to prevail, but man, we got to move fast. I don't want to see our friends killed for no reason at all. That is just not okay, right? Well, I love you guys. You guys are a family, and it's fun to visit and hang out with you guys. This is number 380 of Saturdays I have spent with you guys. Isn't that crazy? So, yeah. Well, good. Oh, triple spiral. Oh, I must say something. I forgot to say something about, so sorry about that, Yop. Yop has, and it's really interesting to release a library with this name. Triple Spiral Audio has a new library for Omnisphere. You guys should know about it. It's really incredible. I was playing it last night. If you have Omnisphere and you want to feed it some new sounds, here, let me get to this library. Triple Spiral Audio. It's called Extinction. How's that for crazy timing? He had no idea timing wise that would be the case. That, this would be going on, right? TripleSpiralAudio.com is the website. And there's two versions of this library. The EXT versions of all the patches are using effects and samples from two of the Spectrasonics Omnisphere expansions. So you could take something like a... Here's the the extended version. So it's like every patch you have two versions of them. So you can go to like, not the first. Our minds are elsewhere. Okay, well, just so you know, that's the link for Triple Spiral Audio, our friend Yop, who's in the crowd. Yeah, there's no link. Like I mentioned, you need to use, for contributing to a bank like that, the information is there. Then you go to a website like wise.com. Wait. Over here. If you want to contribute to the Ukraine Fund for the Armed Forces, you would have a website like this, right? And I have an account here. I shouldn't show you the stuff we have sent, probably. But you'd say send a single payment. I want to make sure I'm not showing any information on my accounts or anything like that. And then you get to this page right here once you've set up someone else. And then when you're here, you have your account. Oh, I should not be showing that at all for my card number. Well, that's not my number. That's just a random blank space. But here you would be putting in the country, the account, the Ukrainian bank. That information is what you will find on that website link I gave you for you to do the transfer. But it's not like a PayPal. You just say PayPal send. You have to give it the routing information, which is there on that web page. So I was trying to find something a little bit more simple, just a link. And I don't know if there's anything that I couldn't find anything to do that. So you need to put in the information itself directly to send to the fund. Okay. Yes. So my pleasures. I'm actually looking at probably, well, here, I won't say anything, but I'm going to try to put something together for Ukraine as a fundraiser I can do on my website. So I've never done anything like that for a long time. I did a couple years ago for a fund, but we should do that. So stay tuned. We'll try to do something like that. All right. Peace to you all. Let's do all we can to... Okay, cool. You'll figure it out. Thank you, Craig. And thank you to all you that can contribute. And thank you for being here and spending time. We're all together on this. I know that. And I appreciate all of you. So hands together, head bowed, and prayers.